Hi, everybody. I'm Raina Nielsen from Blue Cypress Books, and I want to welcome you all to Book Banter once again. This evening, I will be talking to local author and lifestyle blogger and podcast host now. That's a new title for him. Erik Alexander. His books, The Adventures of Addie Underwater, and his newest one, The Secret Mermaid Review, are two amazing and important books for kids. So we are going to dig into that and his podcast and his blog and everything else. In just a moment, I'm going to click the button and welcome Erik onto the screen. Hi, Erik.
Oh, hey.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having us.
Excellent.
Me.
Everyone is invited.
Right. The whole circus.
Yes, the whole circus. My circus involves 3 animals, which actually can join us at any moment. It's impossible to keep them out of this room. But I love your setup. Oh my gosh, you have the best mic.
Oh, I appreciate it. I sound like a woman, so it's always good to have like good mics to hear me good because the mics have to pick up the fainty voice.
It's working for you. So you can get your voice to do whatever you want if you have a microphone that can capture it that
well. Right.
Okay. So I personally want to point out your hat. So I want to talk to you about your hat. I didn't prep you this because I totally forgot about it, but I do want to mention it because I was going back through your books today, and The Adventures of Addie Underwater. I want to point out you can tell which character is based on Erik because he's wearing this adorable hat, which you are almost always wearing. So do you only have the one hat? That's the first question. And the second question is, what made you fall in love with this hat?
Well, that's a great question, Rena. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you for having me. I love the hat because, and yes, when I have a row of them, I have my yard hat that looks just like the hat of my day hat, but to me, I know it's my yard hat. So and it's funky. It's my yard hat, but I have a whole bunch of them, and I do it because this particular hat, I'm crazy, y'all. If it fits you, and if you don't know if you can find it again, you have to buy a bunch of them. Okay, that way if they don't sell them anymore, you got a bunch of them, and I feel comfy. It's kind of like my blanket. It's my security blanket. I'm not bald. Everyone thinks that I am. Look, I have.
Wow, not even remotely. Like you're just like there's hair everywhere.
It's poof. Yes, it's but I just feel more secure with my hat.
I love it. I love it. It works.
Oh, but I tell you, I fell in love with hats all the way back when I was a little boy watching American Tail with Fievel, the little
He's
mouse,
the best hat.
and he had a beret, and his papa gave it to him. It's so funny. I was watching that now with kids, and they call me Papa. And listening to Fievel talk to Papa when he gave him the hat, it was like, oh my God, I forgot about this scene. So the hat it runs thick.
Did you give yourself the Papa moniker, or did the kids give it to you as you?
When I became a parent, I really wanted to be daddy. And Douglas wanted to be daddy, so I was like, okay, you can be daddy.
You can have this one.
Uh-huh.
I love it. Well, I was just wondering because if it was like subconscious from you watching Fievel and then like it coming back somehow.
No, I wanted to be daddy.
Well, here you go. Oh, Linda has a question. So I know you have a podcast. Oh, okay. All right. So this opens up. This is good. An opening for your podcast. So who is your dream guest? Because you have had quite a few, in my opinion, really cool
I know
guests.
The answer to this already.
All right. Who's your dream guest if you get anybody on the podcast?
My people, if they were watching, they would already know. Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart. Gosh, yeah.
I know everything, like when it comes to maintaining the home, whether it's gardening or making my bed or cooking. I've learned it all from that lady, like obsessively.
Martha is so amazing. Like she does these elaborate things, but makes them look so accessible, so easy for you to do it. And she's been doing this for so long. I mean, we grew up, like, I don't know a world that didn't have Martha Stewart in it. You know, like she's been doing this type of thing for so many years. It's like a comforting.
And there's a standards thing with Martha, you know, because you know, people get intimidated because, oh, I spilled a little flour. But watching her show, like it is always clean. Like she doesn't like really make a mess. You know, she has standards, and I've always been amazed at how polished she is, and I've always been ambitious to where, you know, I try to apply things that I've learned the way that I've learned them into my life. So Miss Linda, Martha Stewart, 100.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep all of the good vibes coming towards you and eventually getting Martha Stewart on your podcast, because it's not an impossible thing. And I'm sure you've learned this from having a podcast and maybe from your blog before, that sometimes you just got to ask.
Yes. And Instagram is the way, because I call it the back door to people's, you know, their phone. It's not the you know, email that everybody's used to. And I have made friends through Instagram, like, and you would never have known it otherwise, you know? So yeah, I have faith that one day, maybe.
You just keep liking those Instagram posts and making those comments, and eventually her people will see you so many times that when you ask, they'll be like, this guy's been around a
he's
long
crazy. He's been blocked.
Never. It's the good kind of stalking, like the appreciating.
Yes, right.
Yes. But I completely agree. Instagram and Twitter, both Twitter for me too, has been just like, you can get this dialogue going. You can go back and forth and sort of like just it's like the introduction. Like if you were at a party with somebody or meeting and somebody said, oh, this is Martha, you know, you can get that. You work that room yourself. Instagram, Twitter, social media is like a networking room. Like that's the way I think of it a lot of times. And that's just how you work the room. If you stand in the corner and just watch and listen, then you're not going to leave there with anybody's business card, you know?
Right.
But if you go along and you say hi and you chat them up and all this stuff, you might leave with some connections that'll turn.
I call it hobnobbing. You got a hobnob.
Yeah. I used to say that I hated doing that, but like, I don't know whether I've grown into it or whatever, but I don't mind at all going into the room and saying
kind of like
anymore.
I used to not like wine either, but you know, it's a acquired thing. You know, I guess even with COVID, like you get in this little box and you get like your slipper zone and you just get used to just being you, and you have to get used to getting out there again. And I think it's great.
Yeah, I also think maybe some maturity. Like when you're younger, you're so afraid of the rejection of any kind. And then as you get older, I realize like what's the worst that could happen? They're just like, no, I'm busy. Okay.
Right.
You know,
right.
no one's gonna like attack you, right? Or not respond. Yeah. Worst case is not respond. Better is like, oh, I'd love to, but I can't.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No one is going to attack you. They're just going to leave you alone for the most part, right?
For example, I just got declined yesterday on a guest. Y'all, Raina, I'm talking to you like I'm talking the podcast. So
yeah, do it.
I love Vicki Lawrence from Mama's Family. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
That's classic. Classic. Carol Burnett, all that, you know. Well, I grew up with Mama's Family with my mama, and I parent, like when my kids push me too far, I give them the mama look.
Mm-hmm.
And when I give them that look, well, anyway, I talked to her agent in LA, and that she loved that we're doing the gay thing, and it's, all that. And she was like, but we're going to have to decline. It's okay. Okay. At least you got back to me,
Right?
thanks.
At least, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Most people, even the people who have people, like they have the decency to give you a formal, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to decline. That's cool, because you know what? They know who you are now. This is what I think too, is like, okay, I'm on their radar. They just didn't have time for me right now. Maybe I'm not big enough for them right now. But when I get big enough, or they find, that person, like a connection is made, all of a sudden that comes back around. They got that email, they got that Instagram message, whatever it was, that connection is still there in the deep recesses of the internet, right? And that'll make that connection. So there's never a loss in that kind of thing.
Yeah, and like it was frustrating last year when we first started the podcast. I had Perez Hilton on, and he's big,
Yeah.
and I didn't do my due diligence and stuff, so I didn't end up airing that episode, and I have it in the vault. But he's probably one of the biggest ones I've interviewed, and I didn't even get to air it, But I learned from it, and to be able to look at him and like do a freaking interview with someone that built a multi-million-dollar business from the ground up. How he did it, we won't get there.
Right.
And I had him on because of Free Britain, and I love my Brit. And I ultimately pulled it because of the way that he acted towards her when she did fly off the handle.
Yeah,
because she did go through the time, Raina.
It happened. It happened. It's okay. We've all been there. It's just not been on the front page. Luckily.
You're right.
So yeah, absolutely. And there are definitely some interviews I wish I'd prepared more for. Just not gonna say what those are, but yeah, it happens. It happens. But you just go and you learn from it and you move on, and that's it. So I haven't dug into like the way back years of your blog. Did you do interviews and things on your blog too before you did?
In the beginning, I basically saw that what we were doing, parenting two dads in the South, wasn't a thing that's really common. And I got so many questions, from whether it was gays wanting to find a family, or whether it was straight people, whether it's curious people or allies. It is a way for me to write and get the thoughts out of my brain. And, some were tackling like early issues, or not issues, but like open adoption. Open adoption. Many people, might not even know what that is, but open adoption, there's different types of adoptions, and we felt it was important for us to have an open adoption for our babies, because we're gay. We're not going to like pop out a baby. So we knew that the time would come that the questions would be asked. And we knew that if we had these relationships developed with birth parents, them with us with them, and grow from that, then it would create a scenario of honesty, the way that the kids view us, and understanding that we were real with them when we could have not been. And I felt like, open adoption is just one, but different things that kind of shine a light for people that don't necessarily would understand them any other time.
Yeah. And you're coming from a unique position to be able to do that. And you are so open with the process that's been for you and Douglas and your lives. And like, I'm really, I don't know it's not envy. I admire
Oh, thank you.
your openness and your genuine, it's seemingly genuine want to educate people. And you are in not unique, it's like you're the only one, but it's a unique position to be in, to educate. And I appreciate that. And I know that I've sent people not just to your books. I mean, in the bookstore, that's the easy part. It's right there on the shelf. Oh, there it is. But like further to your blog and such, because I'm like, look, if this is something that you need more of in your life for whatever reasons, whether that, this lifestyle fits your family or it's something you want to know more about, I've sent them to your blog and you're in your direction, because I know that you are sharing good information and in an honest way. And I love that.
I love that. You know what it makes me? I love metaphors. And by you telling me that, I think of the game. Do you remember the game Red Rover?
Yeah.
Red Rover, and you link your arms.
Mm-hmm. You had to
And
run
then
through.
one person, and I picture that. Oh, I have chill bumps. I picture that person being, something negative or something, something where that band of people, which are the allies, like you and like Blue Cypress and the others that all, band together with, our community, and we don't let that hate in,
Right.
I don't know why that metaphor just popped in my head.
I love it though. I love it. I'm definitely going to use that later, because yeah, exactly. And that's how it works. We all, from this end to the row all the way down to the other end, you link arms and you can see you're all together and they're not going to get through. So yeah. And we can put all the babies behind us. We can protect them.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so Linda has another question. But let me use that. I'm going to use that as a segue to sort of like introduce your books a little bit. For anybody who hasn't seen your books, both of these are picture books for kids. Amazing illustrations. We're going to plug Victoria Zemke right here. Check out,
amazing.
Google her, check out her artwork. She has a little shop that has all kinds of little goodies in it with all of her artwork on it. So check that out. So your first one is basically about your family, that they were mermaids, which I love. And about all the different families that there are, and that no matter what your family looks like, we all love each other. Like, we need love, basically, and we're all deserving of it. And the Secret Mermaid review is set in the aquarium here, or one that looks very similar to the New Orleans aquarium. And is about like these mermaids all have special skills and things that they like and things that they're good at, and that we all have special talents, whether we show them out to the world or whether we hide them inside. They are ours, and we should be like encompass those.
Right, and help others find theirs.
Exactly. So I love both of these books. So
thank you.
And they're for younger kids. Linda's question is, do you plan to write books for older kids as your kids get older? Because I know you have a little one, and then like, how's your oldest? Is 5, 6?
She'll be 7 in November.
Okay, so you're like in the little still, pretty little.
Yes, I love that question. She's good, Miss Linda. There is a series that I want to develop later. I see watercolor, and it be more of a mature concept, but still, fantasy with pixies that live in the live oaks at City Park. And I want, I want my kids to pay attention. Okay. So I kind of go in their direction, and what they love, I kind of like, okay, let's talk about it. And, I put us in mermaids, and then they understood that all families are different, but we all love, and with the other mermaid book, because we still in mermaids, Raina. Mm-hmm. So both of them, working with the Audubon Institute, I was talking talked to one of my friends there, and she actually put the mermaid book in my ear. I wasn't even thinking about it.
Oh.
And it was something that I like fainted because it's Audubon, and I just released Addie. I wasn't thinking about another book. But
well, and I know you were thinking about there's gonna be more in this series.
yes.
So I know that was like on your plate when we did the launch for that book, and we briefly talked about like that was what you were thinking about at that time. So
exactly.
that took a little bit of a turn.
It did, or it just the helping of it just got more, and it was like, oh, it's really cool. We're doing the Addie thing. She ain't coming out to next year though. But to introduce really important topics to my littles personally, and then get their feelings on it, allows validity in my own self to know that it's important, and these little windows of time that they're in, that 5 to what 11, no, maybe it's reading. I wanted to make it
Yeah.
easy enough to where they could read it when they get old enough too. So I mean, that window to 5 to 11, I mean, it goes by so fast, and I want them to understand it, and that's why I want the topics for them to understand.
Oh, absolutely. I absolutely do. And you're right. Like people are shaped their whole lives by their environment, by the people around them. But those I don't know what like actual doctor would tell me what the age is, but those early years are definitely like I see my son is 15 now. So you see those little pieces that come out. You think he wasn't paying attention, or you think didn't make any difference. And it's something that I did religiously when he was like 3, over and over and over, and some little pieces will just come out, and you'll see him doing it. I'm like, okay, that was always worth it,
Right.
And sometimes things similar to this, like that you've tried to instill when they're little, and then you get caught up in life and you're not paying as much of attention. You used to say it all the time, and now you're just like, whatever. And then it'll pop back at you. And I'm like, oh, that worked.
Wow.
That worked. And now he's at an age where he chooses me, right? It's not, you know what I mean? Like when they're still little, like, yeah, okay, they can choose you.
Right.
They do nothing.
Who else you going to? No one else is going to get you.
Exactly. There is no other option for you in reality right now.
The choice. That's sweet.
Yeah. And in realizing at 15, you can walk out the door. Now, it's not going to be a good idea. Okay. Right. But you could. And when you realize that as a teenager, that's very empowering.
Right.
And we sort of went through that maybe about 6 months ago where something clicked, and I went, oh, this is very scary as a parent, because like, I just go, and I'm like, oh, he could, I mean, like I said, bad idea, but he could do it. And then obviously he's still
right
video games in there, so he did not, but he's but then he chooses when he comes to choose to hang out with me or talk to me or ask me a question or different things like that. I recognize how special that is, again, in a different way. And like you're talking about those years are so finite, and I knowing just how lucky I am being in this industry, and he comes and chooses these things, so I know there's a lot of good books out there for older kids too right now that's coming out, and I am here for it so much, showing just all the different options in the world that there are for you. And I remember back to when I was his age, and that wasn't on the shelf at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it happens to me with books, but it's out there just in the world is very different than when we were teenagers. And just seeing like what all, you can go to a bookshelf or pull the movies or TV shows up on your Netflix, and the options that they're right there on the front screen are showing you so many different types of people and families and just life. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's the thing that I get like all worked up about, but you are a piece of that, to me.
Oh,
You're
well,
putting that
it's
out there.
visibility. It's visibility in really important things that used to not be talked about. And that is an array of different things.
Mhm.
And now we turn the light on and we allow the room, our eyes to focus. You know, we were so blinded and not taught the full story before. And now we're given, you know, the chance to, not only make up our own minds, but help teach others, ways that, could help them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I want to go back to the podcast for my personal self now, because I'm looking through your past guests, and I just sort of picked a random one. Rainbows, Recognition, and Gay Laws. That's the name of this particular episode. And you have a senator from Florida. You have an Instagram personality. I don't know them. Rainbow Dads on Instagram.
Oh, they're huge on TikTok.
Oh, okay, all right. I do have a TikTok, not super.
I don't do the TikTok. That's so, like, I don't understand it. He's giant TikTok, like 450,000 or something. They really represent gay dads, but they were in a legal struggle for their son in New York, and their son is like 8 or 9 now, and they're trailblazers for the rights of parents of being two men, and especially it being in New York in such a liberal state.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating, and so it pisses me off because we're in 2022 now, and to hear the things that those poor dads have gone through, it's inspiring to hear what they do. Mm-hmm. But I was thinking about that senator, that Raina. I was thinking about him when you when we were talking about Addie, because Addie, that book is, being whatever that the governor did down there. And I needed to know something from that senator. He's a Democratic senator. I tried to go for the Republican. They did not even have the time for me.
No.
But I'll go straight to it.
Yeah, you should do it. Send out the note. But I'm not surprised.
Mm-hmm. They were scared of me. Scared of me. So I have exactly clarity. Right. I have clarity from Senator. It was a good show.
Yeah. Well, and is it NASCAR?
Oh,
no,
yeah.
No. This is a Major League athlete. Yeah, Major League Baseball.
Oh,
NASCAR was another one. But yeah. And I'm like, this is an amazing lineup. Like, okay, this is just, I'm going to put the link to his podcast because seriously, just that's one podcast. And you've got a senator, you've got the TikTok, family, and then you have a Major League Baseball player. So he just came out. He's bisexual, and to be in the NBA and owning who you are in that male dominated, like, can you imagine this testosterone? Ugh, gosh. And he is like representing. It's really neat. Yeah, in those situations, like, and especially if you've been in the locker room for X amount of years, like you've already been in there, and everybody has this preconceived opinion about who you are, and then to just change that. You're right. Whatever you're changing it for or against or whatever the change is, you are standing in front of people who think they know all these things about you. And then you're telling them, no, this is different. This is a different thing. And no matter what that is, you are going to have people who are like, ooh, change sucks. Ah, no, what? Like you lied to me or something, right? You've got that. And then have it be any kind of hot button issue in any way. It's got to be hard to walk back into that locker room the next day.
Yeah.
That's bravery in a lot of ways. And two thumbs. Yes. To get a round of applause for everyone that's ever in that situation. Oh, so Linda is from Florida.
Hey, she sounded off.
Yeah.
You tell us about it.
Yeah. I'm originally from Florida too. So, and you're not, where are you from originally?
I'm from South Mississippi,
Okay.
and those stump jumpers are getting all the ideas from the Floridians. And it's like, come on, because Mississippi can't come up with it themselves. They have to copy, Alabama or something else. So, rather than, it just starting by whatever other states are doing, let's just, come back to the center, and let's just think about it.
Yeah. I mean, growing up in Florida, it was always a little right, it's always been that way. But man, they just kept taking that, they just kept going, just taking the turn. And I'm lucky to be over here now, watching it from over there, but going, man, you can pull that car right back over onto the road anytime. On anything, just pick a topic and come on back this way. And they're like, no, we're good over here. Okay. Well, you do you, I guess, and I'll just go back and visit for a few days and come.
Right. But at least you get to leave, It's,
exactly.
I don't live in Florida, but I love Florida, and we will always go to Florida because we're a Disney family, and dealing with what we were talking about and with a senator, and they are in an island of it. We were talking about Red Rover, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
They are in that link, okay? So we have Raina, we have Blue Cypress, we have Disney. We all have the same elbow. It's not like one elbow is bigger than one other. It's just we're allies, and our family will always go to Florida. And when we go there, we will lead with what we can do. And that is by visibility and by showing whoever is backwards, whether that is in Florida or Mississippi, that we are just like any other family that love our babies, just like any other family. We just tend to look differently,
Yep. And that is, that is, I guess, what we can do every day. And yeah, some places the struggle is greater than others, but yeah. And actually, Orlando, I have a lot of friends who live in Orlando, and it's this weird little kind of blue dot
little pocket.
Yeah, this little pocket as well. And there's just these spots, but yeah, Florida is, I never hated Florida. All of my friends, like in high school, everyone was like, gotta get out. And I was like, it's fine. I mean, whatever. But then I came to New Orleans and I was like,
did you go to the beach? You don't seem the beachy type.
Yeah. Is it all the white, the I definitely don't tan for the situation. No, not very often. My sister loves the beach. So sometimes she'll be like, you want to go to the beach? And I'm like, okay.
Oh, it's so hot.
Because I love you, not because I want to go to the beach. So even when I lived there, like all the time, I'd go to the beach once a year. And usually that was when you'd go with, like, someone was going. My sister, a group of friends, there was a reason to go.
Raina was entertaining. Yes. She was entertaining.
Exactly. So I was fine. I very rarely, I don't know that I've ever said, do you want to go to the beach?
I didn't see that matching with your whole vibe,
Yeah, I would. If you were like, hey, Randy, you want to go to the beach? I'd be like, sure. But I'm not going to. This is not going to happen the other way around. Sorry about that. There's plenty of other places I'll be like, do you want to go? But it's not the beach. Yeah. So much of what Florida had to offer was lost on me. Yeah. So it's just like family, And, do you have family back in Mississippi? Like, do you go to visit or anything like that?
I do. We do. And we don't get over quite as often. My husband, he's a psychiatrist now.
I saw that fancy photo with his little jacket and his name embroidered on it.
I can't believe it. It's been such a long road. I mean, 12 years, and we have this year is the last of fellowship. He's doing an addiction fellowship. But it's neat to move on in a different period. It feels like we're out of that tunnel, you know?
Yeah.
And the next place is the beach. I'm not a beachy person, but I've grown to love it because of my babies.
Yes.
And they really make good sunscreen now that you spray on and it does not, you can't feel it.
I
Like,
know.
it's like it's not there.
I know.
So,
it's nice.
yeah.
Yeah. I will say I probably went to the beach more when Chance was little. My son was little. Because, you know, kids love the beach. He doesn't now, but he's a teenager, so that could come back around. He doesn't love anything. But yeah, I mean, kids love the beach. So I probably went more to the beach when he was like from maybe 2 to 6 than I did maybe my whole life. I don't know. But yeah, it's nice to go home every once in a while, but also it's really nice to come back.
Yeah, when we go to Mississippi, it's just real quick and you know, a weekend kind of deal, and then we come home. But we definitely love our family. Family is very important.
Absolutely. So what is next for you? What are you working on? What's your next project?
Well, you know, I want to do a reality show. That is not any time in the next year, but what I'm doing today is keeping me so busy, I'm almost crazy. So,
What are you doing?
well, like the podcast, the books, the parenting, you know,
Yeah.
I have concepts and you know with Nola Papa and the sponsors, and I have the ideas, but I don't feel like it's the time yet for that leap. That is a commitment all of in itself, and I like the podcast. Like I don't want to stop doing that right now, you know. And I want to write an autobiography. Is that a biography?
Autobiography. If you're writing about yourself.
About myself as an auto. Exactly. And that is again way down the road. But I like to have plans that I haven't, you know, gone towards. That way it keeps me focused, you know.
Keeps you focused. It's like when a period of time opens up, you're like, oh, I don't really have anything on my plate. You have a little list. You go, well, would any of these fit in here?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I do the same thing. I have lists, everything from groceries to dreams that you know may or may not ever happen. But that's what keeps me going.
Do you write?
So I used to write a lot. Writing is a thing that I would like to start doing more of. I have actually
so therapeutic. Oh my God.
So I've just gotten back into I started, you know, I got to push myself in the beginning.
Yeah. Yes.
Forcing myself.
And you just got to bang it out. Just got to bang it out.
Yep.
Just keep thinking that. Just got to bang it out and just bang it.
Yep. And that's right now I'm just like journaling again. Just like I'm not writing with a purpose except for like every day it is on my to-do list, write in my journal for at least 5 minutes. Like, and I've been doing it and like I mean,
Benjamin Franklin?
Yeah, I like Benjamin Franklin.
Girl, really? Yeah. With a quill?
Not quite that fancy. It's more like a decomposition book from Blue Cypress, in case you're interested. And just a pen. But yeah, because I think better when I do that. Like I process better. So we're talking about it being like therapeutic. That's a lot more therapeutic for me than typing it out. Typing it out is more informational. Like I can do it, but I don't get the same therapy.
You know what's crazy? When I'm at the gym, and this has been over 10 years. So everything I've ever written, Raina, everything, whether it's a blog, a book, whatever, I either bike on my bike to the gym and I think about the way I want to do it, or I run and I think about what I want to do, and everything is typed on the elliptical with my phone.
What?
Like this. I'm just
this is
like
this.
Yes, everything. Like I'm
You're
going.
This type. Your thumb is just all over the place. You're like, I can edit later. I can just figure out what that word's supposed to be later. Get the
Yes.
story out there.
Like the sad ones, like the blogs that are sad. I'm like, like as I'm like,
people at the gym was like, you think that guy's all right? Should we? You need some tissues, man? Is that all right? Okay.
Right. You got a tissue?
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm working through it.
Yes.
I know. That's why I'm doing this. That's how I know it's gonna be okay.
Right. Yeah. Funny.
Oh, that's so funny. No, that's interesting. I don't know. I've never tried to. I mean, I think a lot. If I'm walking, I walk a lot.
Endorphins, baby.
Yes.
Endorphins.
And that helps you process things. But then I'd never. Maybe that's my next step. Is like take a walk, come back, write in my journal.
There
like
you go.
Maybe that's the next. Like put them together. Like I don't know that I'd be a typer and a walker at the same time, but processing and then come back. But I've also been starting to do that text to type thing on my phone.
Me too. Period. Hyphen. Comma.
Yeah, been learning about that. I can't get it to capitalize a letter. I haven't looked it up, so I don't know how.
I don't know how to do that either. It's dumb.
It's gotta have. There's some code. We just don't know what it is we're supposed to say.
Yeah.
Siri just types it all out.
And she says, now. And it's like, no, don't say to me. Yeah. Say yes or excuse me. Right? Like, like
she's trying to she needs to be more like Martha Stewart. Like get with that's proper. Siri is like a computer. She's not. I don't want her to think better. Like I like computers as
like,
helpers.
am I bothering you, Siri? I mean, I'm sorry, you computer head. Like, yes.
Exactly. Well, Erik, it has been a pleasure talking to you this evening. I have wanted to figure out how to do this for a while because any of the times that we've ever gotten together, like for events or just run into each other occasionally, I've been like, I know that we could have a conversation. Like, I know we'd get along, and this just totally proved it. So thank you.
We hobnobbed. And then we were like, okay, we jived.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, and everybody who's watching, thank you so much for tuning in. The links to purchase Erik's books are in the comments, and his podcast and his website with his blog and more information about him and his family is right there. So definitely click those links. And we have signed copies. So if you order through our website, you will get a signed copy. And thank you, Erik. And thank you all, everyone, for tuning in.